Okay, so last time we left off at September 2nd with Melissa being here and telling me that I'm the medium, everything flocks to me, and I have all the answers, and I just need to learn to navigate my powers, that it's going to come on faster than I can ever imagine or that I would ever want to deal with, and it's going to be okay. I just need to learn how to control them. Anyway, so just on a side note, before we get started with the September 3rd day, the very next day, I just want to take a minute to pause and say, for all the people I love and everyone I don't know watching this, who I still love, who are watching my videos, a quick time out to be like, whether or not you believe in anything spiritual, ghost, alien, anything, like, even if you're just a human existing on this planet, it is very, 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 very important to look into having like what fluoride and metals in your water does. And I know it probably sounds very silly to a lot of people, but yeah, no matter what you believe in or don't believe in, it is so, so, so important to look into. So most water filters or filtered water or whatever else, it does not remove fluoride and metals and things that should not be in your body. Most water filters, majority of all water filters, it doesn't remove them from your body. So no matter who you are, how healthy you are, how perfect or imperfect, or whether you're ill or sick or flawless, or no matter what, you do not want excess fluoride and metals in your body. Like, trust me on that. You do not. So everyone should do their own research. No, I'm not a medical doctor. Didn't go to med school. But anyway, 100%, please, please, please do your own research and look into. There is such an excess amount of fluoride in all of our water. Everybody's water has fluoride and metals and things you do not want, you do not need in your body. So no matter who you are, healthy, ill, medical condition or not, get the excess fluoride and metals out of your body. And again, I am not a medical doctor, so you're going to have to do your own research if you have a condition of any type, but please, please do the research. Get out fluoride, get out metals, find filters that remove them. Yes, you do have to pay extra. It is a little bit more of a larger price, but please, for the love of God, get the excess fluoride and metals out of your body. You do not want them there. They do not serve. They serve no one well. Anyway, okay, so I just needed to get that off my chest. And then the other thing is I feel like it's been like a hot minute since I reminded everybody that everything that has happened to me, it is a natural born human ability. Like, this isn't special. This is not unique. What I am experiencing, any human, any being actually on planet Earth, like any being can experience it. It's like a God-given, natural-born right. Most of us just aren't familiar with it, and it's kind of a foreign concept. But please remember, like, yes, I know that my story is odd and it's unique, and my awakening, it did happen in a large part out of suffering, and not everybody's gonna have like activation codes or DNA activation codes. I haven't got into that yet, but I will. And in just in like the past week or two, I have realized like that is a very rare thing. That concept of what happened to me, it is very rare. But I don't even know how to explain this. Every single one of us came to planet Earth like with a plan. Like every single soul that's in existence has a purpose. And we all came here to like live out our purpose. And so if you feel like you're just lost and the world's against you, it has nothing to do with your life, what's happening around you. It's because like you're not on path with your soul's purpose and why you're here. And I'm gonna save that for like a later episode because there's so much cool, amazing things to talk about. And for tonight's like a video recap, it's not the time. All I have to say is like we all came here for a very exact purpose. And yeah. Oh, I have so much I want to say, but I'm gonna save it. But anyway, my point to all that is we all are so no matter who you are, no matter what religion you believe in, you are so closely connected to the divine. And you want to know what's cool? I was not going to go down this path either. Here I find myself. Everybody has a dedicated archangel. Like, well, you always have the protection of like all the archangels you can call upon, but everyone has a dedicated one. Mine's Uriel. Not Ariel. I think that was another one because I got told it's like yours isn't the common one, not the popular one that people would know. But anyway, mine's Uriel, Uriel. Anyway, we all have a divine connection in these like abilities that have fallen into my lap. Everyone, every single human, every single being born on this planet has access to all this stuff, which is so cool. So even though you may not have activation codes, or you may not, your story may not be set up to experience the same things. And the good news is, for your case, the same heartaches that I have, you can literally decide to implement and do this tomorrow if you wanted to, which I would never have believed it either. And I feel like that's part of why I've been shown the other side, is because probably one of few humans crazy enough to put my life and myself and my story on blast and be like, hey, guess what? Anyway, I just hope that every single person takes a moment to realize like how amazing you are, and like how much, like if you actually wanted to, like how many abilities you actually have. Anyway, okay, back to telling my story. So, okay, September 2nd was when Melissa the medium was here and had told me, yes, you have all these abilities. I can't wait to follow your story. Yada, yada, yada. I know nothing about the galactic realm, and all my other encounters that had happened to me, I didn't know how to put them into words at the time, so anyway, she couldn't elaborate to the extent that I would like or wanted her to. So it was the very next day, September 3rd, that I had already told one of my best friends that I would watch her kitten while she traveled. So anyway, she lives about like, I don't know, 25, 30 minutes away from me, and in a condo. So after work, I went there and walked in the door, whatever, and in a nutshell, I was like, oh yeah, there's like a gal spirit who's here, which, in hindsight, I guess I had always known that. But anyway, but it wasn't like attached to like her condo or anything in particular. It was more so just like this gal spirit was like in the building and she came and went, and it was like a no big deal situation. And then I was showering before I went to dinner that night, and then I got out of the shower, and it was like this like really warm, like I can't even describe it, but like it was kind of like this like very like warm, loving presence was in the room. And then like it was like something had like lightly tapped the blinds, and I was like, oh man, maybe my house is just like way haunted and crazy, because every like all like the spirits and beings here are just like so kind and nice and loving and warming, or like I don't know. Anyway, and so I was just like, okay, there's a gal spirit who comes and goes. It's weird that I know that, and like I've always felt this, but I guess I have never recognized it until now. But then there's also this really, really like loving, warm, maternal spirit that almost doesn't even feel like a spirit. Like, I guess this is why people wouldn't need to be scared of spirits if anything is this kind or amazing. And so we're gonna table that for a second. But my best friend, Holland, I had told her, I was like, you know, she had come down to meet me for dinner because I was like, she had known that I had had quite the day yesterday. I was like, okay, Melissa came to my house, did a reading. There was no clarity as far as I was concerned. Things just got weirder. Anyway, and so I was telling her, I was like, apparently I'm the medium. All this weird stuff's gonna happen. And I said, I was like, I walked into my other friend's condo, and I was like, and I knew like what was in the house, or like what was in her condo, and I'm like, that's pretty weird. I was like, I've always felt these feelings before, but like I've never been able to like identify, like, anyway. And so we were walking to dinner, and anyway, we were walking along the sidewalk, and I was like on the inner sidewalk, you could say. And then I guess I can say Holland's name. Holland, my best friend. It was her, because this is just when things like only start to go up. But I was walking along like near like buildings, and then she was like next to me on my left side, walking along like I guess the street. But we were on the sidewalk walking, and we were just like walking along, and we were going from the condo to the restaurant. Anyway, and so we were walking, and there were like bushes kind of, and so we were walking, and all of a sudden I was like, whoa, wait a second, stop. And I like took a step backward, and I like did a double take and like looked to my right, and she had been anyway, and I thought I had saw like this like glowing ball of light, and I was like, weird. But anyway, you know, my whole life is weird. So I didn't think too much of it in the moment, but anyway, she was to my left. She had been like kind of like looking off like across the street, spaced out, whatever. And I had just been like, you know, mindlessly looking to my right, I guess. But anyway, so we were both walking along the sidewalk, and I had taken a step back and been like, whoa, wait. And I looked, and she was still a few steps ahead. And I looked, and there was like nothing there. It was like a gap between two bushes with a window to like a, you know, tall apartment building, but nothing there. And anyway, and so she had taken a couple steps up, and I had stopped, and she was like, oh, was the light on? Like, could you see what they were doing in there? And I was like, well, that's what I thought. And she goes, oh, I thought there was like a bright light on and you could see what they were doing. And I was like, Yes. So that was kind of odd because so Holland and I have always been we have been best friends since we were 15, 16, somewhere between 14 and 16. And anyway, like we've always had this like odd kind of like sister connection. Like anyway, this is just kind of when we learned like we all come here with a plan and there's much bigger things on the other side. But so anyway, so I was kind of like, no, but that's what I thought I saw and it doesn't exist. And so she's like, okay, whatever. So we walked to dinner, we went and got sat at dinner, we had dinner, and we were talking about like the reading that had been happened at my house the day before, and she was saying like, yeah, and I was talking about like all this galactic stuff, and I was like, I'm just so tripped up, I just like cannot put a finger to like all of this like galactic knowledge I know, and like why I feel like I have these codes, and I'm like, I just don't know what to do. I just feel like so out of sorts, so out of place. And she was saying, she was like, yeah, she's like, like I had told you, I used to have these vivid dreams that I never felt like were actually dreams of somebody I knew and care about greatly being abducted by aliens. And she told this story. And in that moment, all the hairs on all my arms stood up. And she's like, I just had this like, I used to have these like reoccurring dreams when I was little, of somebody I care about greatly being like taken by aliens. And she's like, and I would be running after them screaming, stop, don't let it happen. And it was like, we were sitting there in a, decent restaurant, like nowhere, but I don't know. Anyway, all the hairs on my arm stood up. And in my mind, all these like, it's like movie reels, I guess is the best way I can put it, come into my mind. And I'm just watching the entire scenario play out, like real life scenario play out. And she's like, yeah, she's like, I don't know, I used to have these dreams, blah, 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 whatever. And anyway, meanwhile, all the hairs on my body are standing up in tears rolling down my face. And I'm like, Holland, it was not a dream. Like, and I like lifted up my arms like to show her like all chills, like full body chills, full everything. I'm like, that wasn't a dream, that was real. Like this is your confirmation, it's real. And I'm like sobbing, full hairs like on my arm. And anyway, and she's kind of like thrown for a loop because we have been best friends for like, I don't know, somewhere between like 14 and 20 years. And she's like, I've never seen you like this. And I'm like holding out my arms and I'm like, I know, I don't know, but it was real. It was all real. And I'm sobbing. And then she's just kind of like, well, shit. Anyway, and so, yes, so that happened, and then more things kind of like proceeded, like, that next week when I was staying in my friend's condo, like, I would be like, oh, so-and-so texted me, I need to go get my phone and text them back. And then I would go and get my phone, and I wouldn't have any text messages, but then I'd be holding it, and then a text message would come through from that person, like, within a minute or two. And I'm like, oh, God. And, like, it was just stuff like it was, like, nothing alarming or concerning, but just more like, oh, I knew somebody texted me, and I was going to text them back before my phone ever buzzed. Like, I don't, like, just, like, stuff that I was just like, yeah, none of this is cool. And then, like, anyway, and then, like, Holland and I being around each other, like, weirder things started to happen, and, like, our powers kind of grew, and all this odd stuff. And then, it was a few days later when I was in my friend's condo, and I was playing with her kitten on the ground with like one of her like kitten toys, I guess you could say. And a very, very personal message came through from a loved one who has passed. And anyway, I was kind of like, whoa. And that was the first, like, I guess, like, full message, like, understanding that I had gotten from somebody from the other side. Like, it was like this, like, you could feel the presence coming in, like, the warm, loving. They, like, directed your head, do a picture so you could see who it was. Like, it was my first experience of, like, getting a message and, like, learning how to know who it was from, I guess you could say. And it was very personal. Anyway, not ready to share that message. But, all that type of stuff started happening on a very large scale. Anyway, and so, yes, that stuff continued to escalate, and it just continued to happen for another week or two. And then Holland, my best friend, she was like, she's always had kind of, I guess, like, she's always been kind of like a trippy dream type of person, like, has always had, like, is it called lucid dreaming or something, where she's always like, anyway, but I could not relate to that. And she just hit, like, so that was kind of, I guess, the second week in September. And she just kept being like, so it's kind of like my powers, abilities started to grow. So did hers. And then when we were together, more and more weird stuff would happen. Anyway, but she just kept saying, like, I am having all these weird dreams. And she's like, I keep waking up paralyzed that, like, people want to take me somewhere, and she's like, and I'm too scared to go, like, in her dreams. Like, she'd wake up next to her fiance, and she's like, I'm too scared to go because I feel like I'm not going to come back from it. And she was, like, asking me, and I was like, listen, I don't know. I get messages, like, at that point, I had, like, a one-line communication where I just, like, got messages, things were coming into me, but, like, I didn't know how to control them, navigate them, or, like, it wasn't like I could pick up a phone and, like, call the other side at that point. Anyway, and so I was at a haunt, I was like, don't look at me. I don't know what your dreams mean. Like, trust me. Just, I don't know. Anyway, and she was like, I don't know, it was just, like, really freaky. I just keep waking up paralyzed next to her, like, you know, her fiance. She's like, and I can't even say his name. I can't ask for help. She's like, they keep showing me this map that they want to take me somewhere. And she's like, and I'm too scared to go. And, anyway, and so that kind of had continued. More weird stuff had started to happen between the two of us, where she would, like, kind of the following week, the second week in September, I guess, like, where she would call me, and I'd, like, and she'd, like, tell me a story, and I'd, like, finish her sentence, and I'd be like, I know, we already discussed this, like, yes, I know this. And she's like, no, you don't. And I'm like, yeah, I do. And I, like, finish her story, and she's like, Grace, literally this happened 2 hours ago. Like, you can look at my phone log, like, there is nothing on my phone, like, this happened 2 hours ago, and we haven't talked or communicated or whatever in 2 hours. Like, no, I have not told you this. Like, don't act annoyed with me. Like, this isn't new. Like, this is not old news. And it was stuff like that that had continued to happen, and I was like, okay, well, and I could, like, finish her entire story. And I was like, well, then if you haven't told me that, how can I finish your story? Anyway, so we, like, were butting heads, because I was like, yeah, you have. There's no other way I would know this. Anyway, and so, like, that kind of started to happen. And so I, like, anyway, I was like, it's fine. Like, I'll text James or Melissa, and, like, let's see if they can do a reading. I obviously don't know what dreams you're having or what's happening. Like, maybe they can help you. Well, so I texted, like, I don't know, anyway, the one that I remember was James being like, well, I'm out of town for a week or two, but like, you know, there's open readings at like the metaphysical store that he owns. He's like, you know, he's like, so there's open readings on Saturdays if you guys want to go there, or otherwise, like, yes, I can come do a call like once I'm back. And he's like, just like, let me know whatever you decide. And so anyway, it was like the following week that and Holland's like, I just like can't sleep. I'm pretty freaked out. Like let's just go to the open house and do a reading of whoever is there. So we kind of just like rolled the dice and went to lunch and then like went and like signed up for an open reading. And with a medium. Well, initially it just kind of had started off as Holland. And even though I had no clue like what was going on in my life, whatever. But at that point it was just like, I don't know. I already felt lonely and alone and like nobody could relate. Like it just wasn't really new news to me. And so we go to this like open reading or whatever. And anyway, so we sign up, like both of us I guess end up signing up. And then we like wait for our time slot and we're sitting there. And then this gal comes out and she's like, you guys have like both of your names kind of like in intermixed orders, like who wants to go first? And we were like, well, I was like, some weird things are happening to me. Still can't describe them. Still don't know what's going on. And I was like, and then Holland, and then, you know, I was like, and this is my best friend. And Holland's like, yeah, I'm having weird dreams. I don't really get it. I don't know what to do. And, anyway, and we're like, so we take one or both of us or however you want to do it, but just, again, help if you can. So she looked at me and she's like, come with me. And I was like, oh, very good. So I went with her. Anyway, Nina, I love Nina, but she was a medium. She is a medium. I love Nina. But at the time, I went with her and I just said like, yes, there are some very weird things happening, and I would love if you can tell me, like, I feel like I have all this galactic knowledge that's happened to me, like that's like downloaded into me that I don't know what to do with. And I said, and also there's been some other things that have triggered like my own memories and like flash forward memories and memories of people I know that haven't happened yet. And like, anyway, I said, I'm a wreck and I would just like help sorting through this. And I had asked some questions and she had given some answers and we didn't really get too far. And I said, to the point eventually after probably like 15 minutes, and I was like, so I've done a reading with like another gal, and I said, and she was like, she's great, she's helpful, but like, you know, she said this would kind of happen to me. And I was like, and I don't really know where to go from here because I feel like blindly clueless, but like nothing's really giving me answers. Anyway, and we had played games and she wasn't getting very much clarity on like answers from her guides and my guides that she was asking from higher dimensional realms. And then finally I was like, can you do a body scan on me? I was like, I got this message and I'm just a little concerned. And I was asking her to like do a health scan on my body because she had said she was qualified to do that. And she was like, this is the first time this has ever happened to me, but I can't scan your body. Your guides aren't letting me scan your body. And I had started to get familiar with hearing that, but anyway, she's like, they're not letting me scan your body from your like below your chest to like your hips. And I was like, no, you're gonna have to try again. I got a very direct message. I need you to, you're gonna have to tell me, like, you're gonna have to sort this out for me because I'm sure she's not going to. Anyway, and she was like, they're not letting me scan you. And she's like, this is the first time in all of my life I've had this happen, where they, like, your guides are literally laughing at me on the other side. And I'm like, I was not amused. I will just say that. And she could not scan my body. She could not give me answers. And really, it kind of ended up within 30 minutes. I even remember what I was wearing. It was like this like blue strapless maxi dress with a cutout. And I was like, honestly, at that point, I had never felt so empty on the inside. Like, I'm talking tears rolling down my face, completely empty on the inside. And I'm just looking at her like, okay, you can't scan my body. You can't even give me the one answer that I thought maybe I could get answered today. And you don't know about galactic stuff. You don't know about all this stuff that has happened to me from these other encounters. Like I kind of just felt like a lost cause. I just felt like a freak. And anyway, yeah, it was like probably within 30 minutes into it, I'm sitting there, just tears. I'm talking tears rolling down my face, and I can't even imagine anyone ever feeling more empty on their insides ever. And she's like, you know what? It's okay. Like, don't panic. I have a couple friends who are familiar with this realm. They're going to be able to help get you pointed in the right direction, or they can maybe provide you some resources. She's like, you know, don't panic yet. Anyway, so I left, I walked, eventually walked out. Holland walked in, and Holland had a great normal reading, like with any good medium. Like, she asked questions, she got answers. And then she was told that Holland and I, so Nina was able to, when she was doing Holland's reading, she was able to tell her that Holland and I have a soul contract, and that's why we're here together. And that we're also here to eat karma debt. So humanity is like going through a lot of suffering, and when you suffer, you eat karma debt. You eat up humanity's karma debt. So part of Holland and I's purpose, like, to being here was to eat karma debt on behalf of humanity, and that we both have bigger, like, much bigger purposes. Anyway, and so Holland, she had gotten much more other readings, and like, I feel like probably maybe in my next episode, Holland can come on, and she has a much, like, we both have very different purposes, but at the same time, our purposes and like kind of like the bottom line, or what connects us, is very interconnected. And so anyway, but my takeaway from that reading was like, okay, great, Holland and I have soul contracts, whatever that means, which makes sense, like, if you knew Holland and I, soul contracts, and then we're here to eat karma debt. Like, all the suffering that happens to us, like, raises the vibration for humanity. Anyway, so that all made sense, but like, it wasn't any closure or peace to the loneliness that I was experiencing. Anyway, so, okay, Holland got more out of that Saturday than I did. But we went home, and then the next night, I think it was the next night, we were like in blankets watching, I don't know, Netflix on Holland's couch. And Holland, she has always been more like connected or in tune with the world, with her spiritual or whatever world than me. But like, I had at one point closed my eyes to be like, okay, I'm going to try to visualize. I'm going to try to meditate, kind of like what this gal had recommended. And I had done that. Like, literally, I was like laying on the blanket. Like, I was laying on the couch, like wrapped in a blanket. And Holland was like, I don't know, on the other side of the couch, watching, like, you know, the TV posted up against the far wall. And I had like literally just closed my eyes and tried to, like, you know, visualize whatever for not even a minute. And Holland was like, Grace, Grace, Grace. She's like, and I was like, what? And she goes, all the lights are flickering. Like, all the lights are flickering. Did you see all that? And I was like, no, I closed my eyes. I was trying to, like, meditate. I've never meditated before. And she goes, you made all the lights flicker. All the lights in the house are going on and off. And I was like, oh, very good. So at that point, then I'm crying because I feel like a freak. Like, I'm like, feel like, I don't know. I never read the Harry Potter books, but, like, you know, it's like, or X-Men or something, like, where you, like, can't control your magic, or you don't know what's happening, and you just, like, all this stuff's happening to you and you can't describe it and you can't control it, and you're just like, somebody come and help me. That's like what it felt like. And so anyway, I was like sobbing, and I don't know, but yes, I will just say that this feels literally, in hindsight, like a lifetime ago. This would have been like the second week in September. We're about at Thanksgiving now, and it feels like a lifetime ago. The amount of stuff that has happened, and that I have learned, that we both have learned, and like what has happened to both Holland and I between then and now, literally feels like a lifetime ago. So yes, I think the next episode I'm gonna do, it's gonna be with Holland and talk about some of the stuff of, like, kind of strength and powers that we have together. Because trust me, there has been nights might be an understatement, like countless, where I'm like on the floor sobbing, refusing to go on, like, because, you know, sometimes it's a lot. Like, it's like, I agreed to all this before ever coming here, but at the same time, like, our human selves, like, you don't remember. A lot of people have, especially, like, I don't know, and our current abilities don't remember that. So there's been a lot of nights where I've just been, like, on the floor sobbing. Like, we have moved from bottles of red wine to boxes of red wine, burritoed in blankets, and where she's had to talk to, we all have, what's so cool is we all have, like, a full divine team above us, a full spiritual team. Every single human, every single soul on this planet has an entire full team above them, which is so cool. But I will tell you so many more details later. But for now, all I know is there has been nights where I can't even function and I'm on the floor sobbing, and it's Holland having to talk to my spirit team to, like, get me to function again. Anyway, yes. So in the future episodes, we're going to talk about, I guess, soul contracts, and that means so many different things. Like, soul contracts can mean, like, soulmates, karmic relationships, twin flames. That's, like, so many things. There are just so many cool things to this, like, planet and this earth. And basically, like, all life is a path to remembering. From the minute you're born, you forget everything in the 3 and 4D. And so this whole life is, every single one of us, it's a path to each of us remembering why we're here and what we're supposed to do. And none of us are crazy. I mean, trust me, here I am putting my life on blast, and I've never felt more crazy. But the great news is there's just such a bigger purpose to each and every one of us, and like how interconnected everything is, and like what our role is. And I don't know, things are just gonna get better for the collective, and I know that, and I'm just so excited. And anyway, I just feel like, yes, like I said, this all happened the second week of September. It feels like a lifetime ago, and there's just like so much to share, which I can't wait to share as soon as I can for some of it. But anyway, I'm going to try to do my videos a little more often than I have been doing. Anyway, but I love you all. Bye.